All right, and good morning, everybody. We got a nice little handful of people on here. A few names I'm recognizing, a few new people. That's awesome. Well,
Do I
welcome
need to
to.
open up the screen, Debbie?
Yeah, go for it. I don't know. Start your class, Chris. Crazy.
Are we live before I
Yeah.
say something? Okay.
Before he starts rousing me back, he's like, "Wait a minute." He's gonna check himself just to make sure.
Yeah, I don't want to say the wrong thing here.
I am going to be in the background today, as usual. I'll make sure that to do any questions, and I'll interrupt Chris when somebody has a question for you. And I'm here for support, Chris, or Raz,
All right.
either way.
Well, good morning. My name is Chris. I am a realtor, associate broker. I've been doing this about a decade or so now, a couple different brokers. So the stuff I'm going to be showing to you today, and I'm going to click my screen off here in a second so you don't see my video feed. We'll get rid of that. And then we are going to, whoops, change screens. The screen to, you should be seeing my my real source screen right here. If you can't see it, type in the questions to let us know that you can't see it, or if you can't hear me, and we're going to get going with everything. So give me 1 second. I got to reconfigure something. So Deb, we're off the video feed, right?
Correct.
Okay.
No face. I just see your Paragon.
Yeah, that's all you're supposed to see.
Thank you.
All right, so as I was saying, I've been doing this quite a while as a realtor. I place a lot of value into CMAs. The stuff I'm going to show you today is how I do it. It's just what I find to be my best practices. Check with your broker. Your broker may want you to do it a little differently. You may find other things work. That's fine. We're just here to show you the tools that are available through my RealSource to do CMAs. There's 2 different ways to do them. And I want to start off by stressing how important a CMA can be for potential new clients that you're going to meet. This is going to be your first interaction with a new client. Possibly you're going to be sitting down with them and trying to demonstrate your value or your worth as a realtor. And the last thing you want to do is give them a half-baked CMA, and then maybe somebody else comes along with a little bit better CMA and takes a listing from you. So with that, I am pretty good at doing CMAs. I can usually bang one out in about an hour and a half to 2 hours once I thoroughly do it all. So once you become proficient at doing CMAs, it shouldn't take you that long to do one. And again, this is going to be, in a lot of cases, it's going to be your first opportunity to present your skills as a trusted real estate advisor to the potential client. So don't just kind of gloss over it and think there's not much to it, because this could be the difference between you getting a listing and not getting a listing. So with that, we're going to get started. The first thing that always happens is you get a call from somebody, and they call you up and they say, "Hey, Chris, so-and-so referred me. I'm thinking of listing my home. What can we do?" And I give my little speech about coming out and give them a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis. It's similar to an appraisal, but because I'm not a licensed appraiser, I can tell you what your home is worth compared to the other properties in your neighborhood. So they give me their name, and I always start in 2 places. The first thing I do is I do a quick power search for them. You can, by the way, you can follow along with me. I tend to go a little bit fast sometimes, but at the end, this CMA class will be edited and put up on our YouTube page, and I'll show you how to find all that in the end. So my cursor will be where it's highlighted up here in red. All right, so the call comes in. The address is 33696 Ashton. It's searching. It expired. It closed. Let's look at this one when it closed, just to get some information on the house that you're looking at. This one closed way back in 07. Okay, so it's been on the market a little while. You can see that, it's 1,500 square feet. And just some information, basic area where it's at. If I wanted to look for the map up here, I could. But the biggest thing I go to, because it's already listed, I want to go to BS&A and and check some information online for the tax information. Because it's already listed, I could click on this quick action link right here, the one that kind of looks like a trash can or, I don't know, columns in front of a Greek structure. That'll take you to BS&A online if it's already been listed. If it hasn't, you can always come up here into the tax section of your bar up here, and down on the right it says BS&A online. I'll show you how to go to BS&A and online. Select there. You type in the municipality, which is Sterling Heights, and city is Sterling Heights in Macomb County. That's what we want. And we're going to enter the address up here, 696 Ashton. And we're going to do the search. Come on. Now, the reason I'm coming to BS&A is the majority of the municipalities, this is kind of like where all the information you're going to find for any listing in the municipality, their tax records. Like I said, a majority of the municipalities use this. So I start with BS&A, and there was the property, so I select that, and up it comes. The first thing I look at is the property owner. In this case, it tells me that Matthew Oles is the property owner. If there were a second name, maybe a wife or some other person on the title, or if it was in a trust situation or an LLC, I would see all that information right here. So I know in this case there's only one name on the title. So when I'm sitting down to present my CMA and partly my marketing plan to them to hopefully get the listing, I want to make sure that this person is going to be there. If there were two people on the title, that tells me any documents that need to be signed, both parties would have to sign it. So I want to make sure all those parties are going to be there when I sit down and talk to them. Also, I've had situations where it was a trust. The trust name came up and another name. And the person who called me, I mentioned that it was a trust and this other person was there. They said, oh, that's my sister. We really can't stand her. We don't want anything to do with her. She's not going to sign any paperwork. I explained to them why they needed to be there. They weren't having any of it. Quite frankly, I wasn't going to waste my time going there because I wouldn't be able to have a legal listing in that case. So always start with the property owner. Also on BS&A, it tells you the address. If the taxpayer information was different, you would see it over here. This is where the school district comes up. School districts determine our tax rate, millage. Your millage rate tells you it's 100% exempt. If you're not familiar with these forms, we have a whole class on these the different tax tabs and what they show. But you can see some general information. This is the sub area I like to go to. It has the square footage and the year built and some other information as to what the building is that I'm going to be doing my search. Just to show you real quickly, you can also see the tax information here. I kind of like to look at this as well. If I'm going into a potential listing appointment, just want to make sure they're not delinquent on any of their taxes. They look to be all caught up. Same with the building department. Every once in a while, very rarely, but it does happen, you'll see something that's hanging out there that isn't closed. Perhaps they just failed to file for a final inspection or some other situation. You just want to make sure as much is cleared up as possible. Kind of let them know if I see something there. So anyways, with the property information, this gives me the information from which I'm going to do my search. I also screenshot this page and save it. Sometimes I add it to my CMA report. I'll show you how to do that. Or sometimes I just bring it along with me because this is the public record data for what they're showing. The municipality is showing that the property sizes and everything else like that. And that way, if people have a discrepancy over what they believe their square footage is, I can always reference this document with me. So I did screenshot this already. I have it saved. I'll show you how to pull it in later on. But right now, this tells me I'm going to be dealing with Matt. And, all the address looks good. And I have my search criteria down here. It's a 1,400 square foot. It is a ranch and things like that. So now that I have this information off of BS&A, I'm going to come back to my home page here. and I'm going to start doing a search based on the criteria that I got off of BS&A. So we start out there with a simple search. It's going to be residential. Now my search screen may come up a little different than yours. I have it formatted in the way I like to use it. You can move the areas around, these different sections how you would like. But so don't worry if your page looks a little different than mine. I have mine formatted how I like to use it. When I do CMAs, not only do I include the actives, I also like to include solds and pendings. Most appraisers only use solds. I like to use actives and pendings because that shows the potential client what their competition is. Because if they're listing a home, you want to be priced similar to other active or pending properties in your area. And the close told you, what things are selling for in that marketplace. So for me, I like to include active, solds, and pendings so they can get an idea of what homes are selling for and what their competition is. Once you add pendings and closed to the status, you have to select a date range. You don't have to select a date range for actives, but when you have pendings and solds, you do. I'm only going to go back 60 days. The reason I'm going back 60 days, I've already done this search this morning, so I've already started. I usually go back 6 months and then narrow it down till I get enough properties that I'm comfortable with. For expediting this class, I'm just doing some of the criteria that I know will get me to where I need to be. The broader your search criteria is, the less defined it is, the more homes you're going to pull in. And then once you get those homes in, you try to narrow the criteria down to find the properties that best suit your subject property. I like to get between 5 and 7 properties, if possible, in which to put together a CMA. So we're going 60 days back. Not going to worry about the price. The municipality we're not going to worry about because I'm going to do a map search. I do my map search after I enter in a little bit more criteria so that I can, it just narrows the searching down a little more on the map part. So the next thing I'm going to put in is the structural style. This is a ranch. Now I know in the area in Sterling Heights, it's one of the 3 communities I work a lot in. In this area in Sterling Heights in particular, there's a mix of ranches and colonials. I don't want those colonials coming into my mix because colonials are going to sell at a different price point than ranches may. So we're going to select the structure style of ranch. So you have one story. And then I also know in this area that there are some of those quad levels were built back then. So if you scroll all the way down, you can see quad level or tri levels. I asked my client, I just want to make sure that they're in there. And, just in case any of them come up, maybe if they come up, I would exclude them because this is a ranch. And if I have enough properties, I don't need the quad levels or tri levels. But when I'm searching for a ranch, I like to come down here and pull in these properties as well because they're similar to ranches. So we're going to save that criteria. In my square footage, again, I've already narrowed this down to get the search I want. My above grade square foot is going to be 1,355 to 1,555. This subject property is, this subject property is actually 1,455. So I went 100 square foot either way. You can do less if you want. I already know this is going to give me the results I want. That's why I kind of played with these numbers. Right now, I feel I have enough in there to do a basic search to try to get the properties I want. So now I'm going to come up and do the map search. All you have to do is select this gray bar here to do the map search because I want to find homes in the general area. So you enter the address here, 33696 Ashton. When you're doing a map search, you don't put in drive, court, or anything else like that, just the main street, and you have to enter the city. If you don't, it'll take you out into the middle of a body of water somewhere, not sure where. I select the search button right there. That is where Ashton is, and I'm going to go on a radius this time of about 3/4 of a mile. You can do a mile, you can do a half mile. Again, I played around with this morning to get to where I want, just to show it a little, to show my searching a little quicker. So I got 3/4 of a mile from this address, and we're going to select search. And while this is loading up, it should bring up those properties. There you go, it's loading. Thing went wrong here. Okay, let's try this one more time. 33696 Ashton. Sterling Heights. We'll select that. And go to my search radius right there. I forgot to click on search radius for my 3/4 of a mile. I just clicked search directly, so it pulled up everything. Didn't recognize the search. Here is my radius right here. Just to show you real quickly, if you want to do, now that I've done my radius, and let's say for some reason I didn't want to include these homes, there's a way where you can select the draw button, come up here to the polygon and say, well, I don't want properties in here for whatever reason. Maybe it's a brand new sub or whatnot, you don't want it. And you select edit. See right here on the polygon, it says include right now. If I select the I, sorry, right there. If I select the shield over here, I'll show you again. If I select this blue shield on the polygon shape, it'll exclude any homes in that area. That's just a way you can start with the radius and refine what you want to. So anyways, I have the properties that I want here. There are 5 of them showing, including my subject property. So I am going to run that search right now. The search comes up. I have 5 properties. It looks like 2 are active and 3 are closed. There are no pendings. So at this point, you have 2 options that you can do. I feel this is enough to go to my potential clients. What I also do is I go through and I take a look at each one of these individual sheets. I try to look at the photos. I take a look at the photos because I want to determine good, better, and best in the neighborhood. I may have not seen the potential client's home that I've already been to. I don't know the kind of upgrades they have there or any of the other fixtures or features that they may have in the home. So when I walk into the property that I'm going to do the CMA on, I kind of want to have a range of if they did a lot of updates, what those homes are selling for, the best homes, and if they haven't done very many updates at all, the good homes in the neighborhood. So I take the time to look at all these photos, so I understand what I'm looking at. This home to me looks a little dated. You know, you can see, in my opinion, I would keep this in the back of my home. That's a little dated and everything else like that. See if they got a finished basement. Come all the way down here. So I go through all this home doesn't have the finished basement. The tile's been pulled up. So I go through all the photos to find out, you know, what I'm looking at for each property. If I had multiple properties that came up, let's say I had 10 or so properties that all met the basic criteria, what I would do is go through all the photos and then select properties that would show me the price range of the neighborhood so I could get a feel for how things may or may not look in there, and then select out the 5 or 6 properties that I really want to include in my CMA. So I do take the time to look at all the photos and look at all the what everything's included and not included. In this case, we have 5. So I'm going to use just these 5 properties. So in order to pull them into the CMA report, you have your properties. If you just check them all so that they turn green, you can go into the actions is one way, and the other way is what we call a quick CMA. That's through Paragon. I'm going to show you that version first. So you have the 5 homes. You come to the right side of your screen to where it says reports. Select reports. Close this up. Down here you have the CMA tab. Reports, CMA. You have 3 options: the quick view, the summary, and the spreadsheet. I'll show you the quick view and the spreadsheet. I don't really use them that much. This is the quick view. There are 2 pages to this in this case because it only shows 4 at a time. I don't really use that much. And the spreadsheet, which is kind of like the main spreadsheet we just looked at. The report that I use the most in CMA is the CMA summary, which breaks all the properties up into active and sold. If there were pendings, the pendings would be down here. And then it gives you all this information. If there's more than 1 property, it'll give you the average. If there's more than 2 property, it'll give you the minimum, the maximum, and the median price of all the criteria that you have up here in the headings. This is a great report I look at for 2 people I use it for. I have a lot of investors that I work with, a handful of them, and when they want to know what properties may be worth in an area, I give them this. If they're thinking of listing a home, I'll give them this report. They can look at it pretty quickly. I also use this report with my buyers. If there was a home on the market and they wanted to know, what would be a good offer for the home in the area, if they weren't sure, I would go through the same criteria I did for searching, except my subject property would be the property that is being listed. I would set my parameters and pull up the homes, and then this information as it comes out and is generated in the CMA summary report is what I would hand to my prospective buyers and say, hey, here's what some of the other homes in the area are being asking for. Here are other similar properties in the area and what they've sold for or pending if it were down here. The other thing that's kind of the positive about this report is you can customize these columns up top. To do that, you come to where it says customize in this light blue toolbar, and then we select field. And then on the right, once it loads, it's thinking. Let's try it one more time. We'll cancel this. Why is it freezing up? Customize fields. While I'm waiting for this to load, it will show you how you can customize each one of these columns up top if this thing loads. Don't know why it's not loading. Let me get out of that. For some reason, we'll go back. We'll try to reload the report. CMA summary. Customize fields. Oh no. Well, if this loaded up, it would be great to show you how. I don't know why it's not responding right now. We're going to have to get out and try it one more time. It's not doing anything. We'll go all the way over here to the criteria. We'll run the search. So the nice thing is, I'll just show you real quickly, that last search, I had to log out and get back in. So I'm like, oh no, now I got to enter all that stuff. No, here's a little shortcut. If you come up here to search, and it's select search, and we go to residential, and that loads up. Right here in the blue toolbar, we have last search. So all I have to do is go right here to this mess of numbers, and it should take me right to my last search, which I believe it does, including the radius, and I run that search again, I should have the same 5 properties. So here are the 5 properties that I had. Same, I'm going to select them all. So the report knows which properties to include. Select reports, CMA, CMA summary. So here's my summary again, and where we left off is showing the customize of the fields. Here are all the fields that are included in the report on your right. Here are all the fields that are available to you. So right now, and the unfortunate thing is you have to do each table individually. So you have to do active, sold, and pending. On my actives, if you look through, I don't have acreage. So acreage is the first one here, or I could just start typing up in here for it. So we're going to select acreage. You can either click it to turn red and hit add if you want to do multiple ones, or if you just double click right here, it automatically pulls it over to the right side. So now when I save this, acreage now will appear over here in my tabulation. I don't have acreage in my sold, and I want to add it in there so my reports all line up. So it's customized fields. Change the status to the sold one. That's the one we're going to work in, the tablet. Here's acreage. Double click on that. It pulls it in. If I didn't want it there and I wanted to move it up to a different spot, all you do is click and drag, and you can move it to wherever you want. Select save, and that bumped my acreage over to here. The other thing I want to show you when you're customizing the fields is on this side, you have the short label and the short value. If you select those, it just shortens up your columns so that it doesn't, your report doesn't get really, really long. I like to keep mine all around a one page printed in landscape mode. We'll save that right now. Similarly, if I don't want acreage in there, if you have a field in here you don't want, customize the fields. I'm going to take it out of the sold first. Here's my acreage. You can either, if you had multiple, you could select here and hit remove, and that'll remove it. We'll save that. And I'm going to take acreage out of the active report, customize, fields. We're inactive. So I just come over here to acreage, and last time we selected here, turned it green, and then hit remove. It took it away. You can just double click right here, and that takes it off your screen as well. Make sure you hit save, and that's how your report's going to be. So that is what we call the CMA summary that you can find over here through My Real Source. It's on your, when you do your basic search, it gives you a nice one-page report that is somewhat customizable for the fields that are in each table. This report is a quick report. It's good to use with, this has a kind of a dual purpose report. It's good to use with buyers as well as, and let's say you know somebody pretty well and you don't want to do the full-blown CMA report that I'm going to show you next. You can take them this report to just kind of show them what's going on in their neighborhood so that they know. If you want to maybe sit down with somebody and they're thinking about kind of listing, and maybe you sold them the house 4 or 5 years ago, instead of doing a full CMA, you can take this report to them and do a little real estate review with them and go over what's going on in the marketplace. This is a quick report to show what's going on in the marketplace in kind of real time. The one drawback that you get with the CMA summary is it doesn't compare the subject property or the property you're going in on the listing to the other properties. It just, unless it's already active, but you know, if it's active, you're not listing it. So if you're going to a new listing, this does not compare back to the subject property, but it does have a lot of good information. It's a quick report. Again, this is really powerful with buyers that are having difficulty trying to come down to what price they should offer. And when they ask me, I run this report. I give it to them. We discuss the numbers. We look at the average and the minimum, the maximum, some of the features that may be in the homes, and then they can make a better informed decision as to the offer that they may want to go with. Doesn't guarantee they're going to get the property based on this information, but in some cases it helps them to understand what the market's doing. So that is what we call the CMA summary, which is over here under reports. I'm going to go back to the properties we searched. We have our 5 properties. We've done the review. We like these 5 properties, but now we want to do a little more formal CMA. We want to put together a nice booklet, possibly incorporate this with our marketing plan, because we're going to this property to give them the information with the intent. I always go when I present a CMA with the intent to get a listing agreement. So what I do is I always take over the listing contract and the seller's disclosure and lead paint disclosure with me. I take those forms with me. I print them out. Yes, it does waste a little bit of paper, but if I'm sitting there and I give them the CMA and I do my marketing presentation to them and they like everything, I want them to sign that listing agreement before I leave. What I don't want to do is go home, say I'll come back tomorrow, or I'll go back and I'll email you all the paperwork. You have both people sitting at the table, or you have that decision maker sitting at the table. They're ready to make the move, get the listing agreement signed. Yes, I've had to come home and not use those papers that I took with me, but the times that I wanted, that I got the listing agreement because I was sitting there with my CMA, I'm glad that I had all that paperwork in my briefcase with me, so that when they said yes, I just presented them with the basic forms to get them signed, and then I went back and got all the other information, took my photos, took my measurements, and everything else. So this CMA I'm doing with the intent to get a listing agreement, so when I go, not only do I take my CMA report with me, but I carry the basic listing agreement forms just to get them under contract. So now let's go into how you do a more formalized CMA presentation. We have the property selected, just like we did last time, to go over here to the report ones. This time we're going to go up in your toolbar where it says actions. Kind of looks like this plug. It's right here. Select that button. And you want to go to CloudCMA. And what this will do is automatically start generating the CloudCMA, which is going to be more of a report format. I'm going to walk you through it now, the steps for CloudCMA. You always start out with your client name. In this case, it was Matt Olson, Matt Oles rather. And whatever you put here, that's what's going to appear on the cover of your report, whatever's within this green bar. If there was two people's name, you would have them both on there. Make sure you spell them correctly, because the last thing you want to do is generate a report with somebody's name incorrectly. The private notes section is just that. It's private notes. It's things that you can add just for your information. It won't appear on the report anywhere. It's so when you pull up this CMA report on your dashboard, you will see these notes. They are private and they don't appear in the report. The next part you have is the subject property. As we know it, it's 33696 Ashton Drive. It auto-populates. That is the correct one. I'm going to select that. It's going to pull in some basic information. Now, I try to fill this out as much as I can, and I'll show you why later in the report. It's not a lot of information, but because you already pulled up BS&A, you should have most of it. I do know that it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. The square foot is, it's what did I say it was? 1,455 square foot. It is a residential property subtype. It's none of this, so we're just going to leave that blank. Advanced info. We're going to fill out some. There's the lot size. The garages is 2-car. The subdivision and the style. The style is a ranch, and that's why I'm going to put it in there. Area. The area they're referring to the property area. You can pull that off of BS&A if you want. Trying to find it real quickly. I don't have that, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I'll show you why you want to put this information in there. Is that the lot size? Yep, that is the lot size real quickly. Right now, I'm not going to add a cover photo. My recommendation is you either pull the cover photo off of BS&A and use it, and I'll show you why. Or sometimes if somebody calls me and I have 3 or 4 days to prepare the CMA, I'm going to drive the street and look at the neighborhood just to be familiar. I mean, after all, this is what I do as a realtor. I put people in homes. I buy and sell homes for people. So I'm going to take the time to drive the neighborhood. It's going to take 15 minutes out of my day. Drive the neighborhood, see what other homes look like compared to the subject property, especially from the curb. See what kind of curb appeal it has. And if it's a decent day, I'm going to snap a cover photo of the property to use here. And I'll show you why you want to use some sort of photo rather than leaving it blank. But for right now, we're just going to leave it as is. Here were those 5 properties that we had that automatically were pulled in from the MLS. These were the 5 listings that were there. I don't suggest the quick and dirty side. I personally have never used it. I know how to use it because of this class. I don't like using it because it doesn't do any real looking into or breaking down any of the properties. All it does is pull some similar property and shoves them all in there. And it may be a new build. In some places of Sterling Heights, you have brand new homes being built right next to older homes. You don't want those in there and everything else like that. So I don't rely on the quick and dirty. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said in the very beginning. The purpose of me taking a CMA is to get a listing and to demonstrate my value as a trusted real estate advisor. Otherwise, they can get all kinds of information online that hasn't been filtered or looked at. So I always use this part right here. Once you have the listings filled in, this information filled in, and the report title, we're going to select Fetch Listings. There's also a Fetch Listings button down here. Either one will work. So what it does now is it's going to start preparing the report for you. So we're in the listings part now. As you can see, here's my subject property. Here are the other homes around it, a little bit north of them, but still pretty close. I don't set a price for the home. The reason I don't set a price for the home is I want to go in and discuss value range. And personally, I like to let the client decide where they feel the price should be. I also, early on in my career, I used to give a price. I walked in with a price in this report. I was confident in all my numbers, and they had, we've all faced it if you've been doing it long enough, they had advice from their neighbor, their mom, their uncle, a third-party website, Zillow, Trulia, or one of those other things, and their price was $25,000, $30,000 over where I suggested a list price was. And so now I'm walking in with a report that's lower than theirs. They saw that number. They really weren't comfortable with it. Sure enough, they call another agent who said, oh yeah, we can get you that number, and went and used them. So I leave the price blank. I don't give them a price. I always go in there talking in a range, and then that way they can determine the price. And if they are going to be higher than what I feel maybe the home is worth, I'm going to say, okay, let's list it at that, and then have the conversation with them after the house has been on the market a couple weeks and we've had a couple showings and no offers. Then I'm going to have that discussion with them about trying to bring the price down. That's me personally. I leave this number blank. If you feel you want to leave it in there, you can. You can also generate a net sheet from here by selecting where it says net sheet notes. And you can type in all your headings that you want in your net sheet. If they had a mortgage payoff, I'll just show you how to do this. You have mortgage balance. If you had an amount, you would select, let's say you knew it, say it's 50,000. Once you select save, it adds another, so you can have your commission split in here. Whatever you want to put in here for these categories. Once you put in a dollar amount, this would be I don't know, $5,000. Once you put in an amount, you put it would save it. If you had a negative in here, this mortgage balance should be a negative. So let's redo this. This should be minus 50. And as we go down, it'll calculate everything for you, and then give you what the net would be to the seller based on the list price that you put in here. That's it. I'm just showing you how you can do a net sheet. I don't use the net sheet. Delete forever. I was just showing you what you can do if you put in a subject price, how you can generate a net sheet in there. You also have here the properties. You have the solds and the actives. I like to make my actives first. So all you have to do is select which ones you want to do and drag them up, and that changes the order. You also have, all right, you can list it by price. And it looks like highest to lowest. We're going to go lowest to highest. But again, I'm going to change the order and put all my actives first. Yep. There. Whoops. So what I did was I put my lowest price active, highest price, lowest price closed all the way down. You also have the ability to make notes and adjustments. I remember when we looked at some properties, and if some have an upgraded, have a finished basement and some don't, some have a different, renovated bathroom or something. If you want to go through and do the adjustments, you can. It is something I don't mess with. I don't mess with it because, I'm not a licensed builder, and I don't follow the cost of what it takes to do a renovation. I don't know my construction costs that well, so I don't make any adjustments. If you're one of the agents that likes to adjust all the properties to get a better value, feel free to go ahead and do that. Appraisers do. I'm not a licensed appraiser. So I don't deal with the adjustments, but it's similar to what we did for the net sheet, you select up here next to the property, notes and adjustments. You can put in notes if you wanted to. This property had a finished basement with a complete kitchen. So if you want to add that value, you know, adjust it, or say, okay, all the other homes don't, so I'm going to take that off the price of the property. You can say deduct for finished basement with kitchen, because you want to get this property more in line with the other ones. I'm just using this as a reference. So you can say, I think that finished basement with the kitchen added $10,000 to this home value, so I'm going to minus 10,000. I selected minus $10,000, and this property is 258, so I select save. Now you see how it made the adjustments of the property to $248,000. Similarly, if you wanted to add a feature to it, you can put add for whatever, and then put the price amount in there, and it'll make the adjustment. I don't do that. I'm just showing you how to do it if you would like to. And that's under the notes and adjustments. So here are the properties. I like the way they are. Here's a summary of the prices. I like the order that they're in. Here's my subject property. If I needed to add a listing, all I have to do is select down here and do that. And then I can enter the MLS number or the address. If I had it, it'll pull it back into the listing. If there was someone that I didn't want, if there was one I didn't want, all I have to do is select the green box right here. And when it generates the report, this listing won't be in there. I do like the 5 the way they are. We have the 2 options, the customized report here or the customized report here or here. Anywhere it says customized report will take you to the next page in preparing the report. Basically, it follows these arrows from criteria to listing to customize to publishing. So we're going to customize this report. Here's where CMA is really a cool tool. This is what I like about it a lot. You can do a lot with this report to really make it your own. On the left side in this big gray area, you have the different headings that go together to make your report. You have the Power Pack pages and some Tom Ferry pages. These Power Pack pages where it says premium, you have to pay for. It's an upcharge for it. I've never found the need to use it in the marketplace where we're in. What comes under the standard package under CloudCMA is more than adequate to generate a very, very slick looking CMA. And you have these different headings over here. Each one has a drop down arrow. These are all pages you can add to your report, all right, by dropping down the arrow. Here is your report in general with all the pages. That's how it's going to look. The theme of your report, you have 5 categories to select to customize your report a little bit. And the nice thing is you can go back and change these. It doesn't change the information. It only changes the look of your report. So when you go to publish it, if you don't like the way it looks for whatever reason, you can come back and change some of these and your report will just regenerate in the look of it, but not the information in it. You have 2 sections up here. You have what they call the modern, and then down here you have the classic. Depending on the modern or the classic will change some of the look of your report. I typically work in the modern. What I would suggest is you do a CMA, maybe do it on your own home and some properties in your area, and then come up here and select the different ones to see all the different features you get between going from a modern report or a classic report. Right now I have modern royal blue and black. You can do modern lime and gray, whatever you would like. I'm going to select this one, the modern blue and green. So my report is all going to look like this. I'll show you what it looks like. That's going to be the theme. So it changed. Everything will have that sort of theme to it. I'll just look at the title page and show you what that looks like. So you can see in that you get this modern blue and the green, bright green stripe there. Some of your heading pages, again, it's going to come up It'll look the same with that blue. So if you like that modern blue and green, you can leave it or just come up here and select another one. I think I forgot which one I typically use. We'll just leave it at modern vivid blue and gray. We'll choose that theme. The next option you have is why it's applying the theme, the layout. You can do a photo with a map, 2 photos, photo with max data, 2 column, 3 and 4 column comparison. A photo with a map is what it's going to do. It's going to show the primary photo and the MLS and then a map. I rarely use this page. I only use it if I'm doing something more in a rural area where properties are further apart and people may not quite know exactly where they're at. You're going to get a map of everything anyways as part of the report. But if I thought it might be a little, I don't know, a little offbeat or something like that, I might include the map so they can see each individual property. In this case, it's those 1960 neighborhoods that were built in Sterling Heights. They're all very same. These properties are all within 3/4 of a mile of everybody, so I'm sure the client will probably know the general area. I'm not going to use this one. 2 photos. I'm going to select 2 photos right now. And max data is, and I want to show you why I don't typically use this. We're going to go with 2 photos as your layout page. You can always come back and change this. The cover, these are the premium covers. It gives you a different look to your report. I'm not selecting a premium cover. You get a free trial, but after that you have to pay for it. So I leave the cover alone. And font is really nice. Here are all the different fonts you can select from that kind of change the pre-formatted information that comes down in your report. I don't even know which one I have right now. We'll just select railway. And so our report is pretty good right now for how you want it to look. All the information that below where these red circles are popping up, this is stuff that's going to be in the report. As you can see, there's quite a bit of information in here. I'm not going to want all that information. Some of the stuff that comes out is pre-formatted. You can't change it. The only thing you can change is the colors at top, on the top. But what's nice about it is that if you're a newer agent or even an experienced agent that want to brush up your presentation a little bit or your marketing or your pitch to them, there's some good information that you can read through there that gives you some highlight points that you can talk to. One of them is called What is a CMA? I include this page in my report, pre-formatted. It tells you what is a CMA, how it's created, how accurate they are. It's branded to me down here on the bottom. If you can see, now that I selected railways, I don't like the way the numbers look for me down here. It's kind of hard to read, I think. I don't like this W up here. It's just my personal preference. I don't like that. I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way this address comes out here. So I don't like railway. The beauty of it is all you have to do is come up here and select a new font, and it'll change everything in your report to that new font. Let's look at that same page. It looks a little different. This looks a little computer generated, but my numbers are easier to see there and the address and everything else here. So that's how quickly you can just go through and select something. We're going to go with cabin. I don't know why, we just start. If you want to see what any of these pages look like real quickly, all you have to do is select them. Here's what your title page looks like, comparative market analysis, the address, who it's for, and the date. The only problem is, for me, the date published here is, and on all the subsequent pages, is the date the report was published. So if I'm meeting with them in 2 days and I ran it today, it's going to say February 21st on everything. So if you get the opportunity and you had the time to publish it on the morning of, then your dates will all be correct for the date that you prepared the report. One other side note that I would like to tell you, you've heard me say over and over that I use this as my opportunity to try to get that listing as part of my marketing plan when I show up at a home to give them a CMA. I take this information when it's all done. Before I go to see the potential client, I send it to one of the local office stores. There's one by my house that I can email it to. I ask it to be printed double-sided on heavyweight paper in color. I'm going to generate a report. I want it spiral bound or comb bound, either of the two, with a black cover on the back and a clear cover on the front. The reason why I send it to an office supply store to get it done and get the heavier weight paper is when you do 2 pages in color on most office copier paper, or certainly your home, it's going to be a thinner paper and it's going to be wavy. It doesn't look it nice. You're going to get a little bit of bleed through. It's not going to look as a professional report. It does cost me some money, averages around $15 a report for me, but that's a $15 investment that I'm going to make to try to get a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 listing. For me, I want to show up with that report and have it looking as best as I can to demonstrate them the kind of quality that I'm going to give them. That's just a little side note of what I do to generate these reports. When I'm done, that's how I get it printed out. Anyways, back to what we're working on here. If you select any one of these tabs here, you can see what the information is going to look like. Here's the map of all the listings. So this is why else I don't use a map with a photo. You're going to see this map in your CMA report. The subject properties in purple. You have the 2 green ones which were active, and the red ones are sold. If they were pending, I believe that color is orange. So unlike the CMA summary we looked at, you don't get the subject property here. You get the subject property here on the CMA summary, you do not. So you can go through and take the time and just click on each one of these reports and see what they are. Comparable property statistics. I'm not going to go through each one of these. I'm going to let you go through them on your own. I just want to go down to some of these on the bottom. A lot of these in the closing chapter, these are all pre-formatted. If you're having a little difficulty explaining commission distribution, here is something you can include in your report with a write-up around it. That may help you if you want. How to stage your home. This is a good checklist. You can give the client some information on that. Moving checklist. Where do you want? Intelligent pricing and timing. This is another good report. It's a 2-page report that you can use to, give somebody some information about how long it's going to be on the market, why we should price it, where we price it. It gives you good talking points with some visuals if you want to include them in your report to help your pitch, land that contract. So all these are, showing an open house checklist is kind of a good one. Tell them things that should be going on for an open house, what they should be doing, and kind of get it ready for showings. However, as you can see, there's a lot of these pages. Any pages you don't want, simply select on the red circle and it moves them out of there. Now, I'm going to get rid of most of these because I don't use them as often. Some of them I will use, but I know which ones I want to use and which ones I don't want to use. This one here is a marketing action plan. It has edit next to it. This is a custom sheet where you can come in and create, I don't know why it has this, it has the wrong info in here, but I can edit this and I can add in what I want. If I want to put in my marketing action plan or something about it, all I have to do is select edit. It comes up like a Word format, and then you just come in and you edit how you would want the document to edit. Or if you already have it saved in a Word document, you can cut and paste it right in here and make a few adjustments, and you can put it in there for, I screwed around with this. It has the wrong heading on there, but if you wanted to include your marketing action plan as a single sheet, you could. So I'm just going to get rid of some of these just to clean this up, and we'll leave it. I'm not having adjustments. Now, all these that I've been taking out appear over here on all these, appear over here under these individual chapter headings. These were all in there and I took them all out. So this report is kind of okay. I'm going to show you how I change it around a little bit later on. Sorry, I thought my phone was off. So I'm going to go with this right now for my report. Right now it's an unsaved template. We're going to save it, and we're going to save the template as, I save it by the address. 33696 Ashton, and I'll show you what the report actually looks like. We'll save that. And now, because we have the report kind of how we want, we have the summary of the comparable properties, the listings, the details, the photos, first dozen. I just want to show you what this report looks like. We're going to make some changes after we run this. So it's publishing the report right here. The name of the report was what I put in that green box up there on the criteria page. So it generated a PDF. We want to view the PDF so we can see what it looks like. Yeah, that is awfully big. So you have, here's your PDF right here. And it's not telling me how many pages are in there, but there's a lot of pages in here. Kind of scrolling through, don't get dizzy as I look at summable comparable properties. So in this, it has this things called the listings chapter. I'll show you where that is. I take these pages out because I don't use them. I don't like to use them because I'm not tabbing my pages, so it becomes an extra page. This report right now, I shrunk my screen down. It's on my full screen there. This has a lot of pages to it. This is my contact me page, the listings. I don't like to leave this page. I'll show you how to take it out. Remember when the page I selected was the 2 photo page? Here's why I don't like to use the 2 photo. It pulls the photos in the way they're loaded in the MLS. Normally we have the primary photo and the very next photo is the photo of the house again. So you have 2 photos of the same one. That's why I don't like to use the page. We also have additional photos. It shows the first dozen photos. So you have the 2 photos, then basically all you're seeing is one room right here. You're not seeing the rest of the house. This one's not much better. It's a little bit better for the 2 photos. But you come in the front way, you're not seeing a full view of the house. The way to change that, we're going to get out of this. We're going to go back to our CloudCMA. We're going to open up, we're going to go back to CMAs. We're going to come to the one we were in and we're going to select edit. Now I'm just going to make some quick changes without going through everything. You don't have to go through the listings and customize or update listings because all we're going to do is come back to customize. We're not changing any of the listing information. We're going to customize it. And right here, we have the opportunity to add more photos, which is up here under the listings, more photos, all the rest. That'll automatically drop it in there. I'm going to take out the listing chapter. Remember I said I didn't like that. And the analyst chapter and the closing chapter. So let's see what this report looks like now. All right. Rename it. The reason you want to save it each time is because if you don't save it, when you come back to it, it's going to add in all those pages we took out. So we're going to save that. We're going to come back and we're going to publish this report. I just want to, I want to change the other cover page and show you real quick where we had the 2 photos. Go to max data. So I'm going to just do something really quick here. Go back to customize once this loads. It's taking longer to load because it's loading all those photos. All right, I'm going to go back to customize. You can come right back up here. It should bring me right to that report. And it did. And I do want to go back to the layout here. This time I'll show you what it looks like with max data on there instead of that second photo. And then we're going to publish this report. We'll let this load up. Few more steps. Bear with me. I appreciate you sitting through this. It's a great. I love this. I love doing CMAs. It's a really, really good tool to get proficient at. So here's what this report is going to look at. So here's the CMA and how it looks. Now remember last time we had the 2 photos. I changed it to the cover photo with information on it. This is not bad. And now you had the first page of photo, but it added all the rest in there. So now we get all these pages, we get 3 or 4 pages of photo, and I want to see the total report is 38 pages long. I'm here to tell you 38 pages. Your clients aren't going to look through 38 pages. They just want to know what they feel the price is worth, and I'm getting to a range. See, this house really did a bathroom up well. Okay. So they just want to get to that price range. They're not going to thumb through 38 photos. Me personally, there's something else I do. I don't like to show all these photos. My personal feeling is that I found when people start looking at photos, they start turning it into their house compared to your house compared to their house. Mostly along the lines of aesthetics and personal preference. Why would anybody have a couch like this in there? I don't like this color of this. That color cabinet, why would you go dark and not stainless? Whatever, oh, I don't like that back there. That house got that much. It doesn't matter what they personally think. The market is saying what that home is worth. And I don't want to start getting into your fit and finish compared to their fit and finish, because what I find is most people are comparing the fit and finish based on personal preference. I don't like white kitchen cabinets. Why don't they have cherry in there? Who would buy that home, right? That's the conversations. I don't want to spend 15, 20 minutes of my potential clients getting lost into, oh, they use this kind of shampoo product, or oh, that's a cute bedroom set. We'd like that, or now we're not having that conversation about homes anymore. So I don't want to show them all these photos. That's just me personally. So what I do, and I know I'm scrolling a lot, and just to show you what it all looks like, how I get around that is I go back up here to customize, and I don't want to give them 38 pages. So what I do is we have 3 options that I like to use: 2-column, 3-column, and 4-column comparison. I'm just going to show them real quickly and then show you what the difference are, and then show you which one I use and what my report will actually look like. Here's a 2-column comparison. We're going to publish this report. We went from 38 pages. Let's see what it shows with the 2-column comparison. As soon as it loads up, there you go, to view the PDF. Let me shrink it down some. The first thing you're going to see for the 2-column comparison is, let's go down to the bottom. You're at 15 pages, all right? But with the 2-column comparison, when we get down here to our subject property, you have 2 columns. You have, they go in order that we have them listed. In this case, it's the 2 listings, 2 sold, and then 1 more sold on its own. They compare the homes. They can look across. They can see each one of these headings, and everything shows up there. That's the 2-column comparison. It's not bad. There are times when I do use that. All the rest of your information in your report stays the same. The other way to do it is a 3-column comparison. And I'll show you that real quickly, just so you can see what it looks like. We're going to publish this report. We were at a 15-page report last time. Not bad. 15 pages isn't bad. It's going to be a nice report that gives them the information. You can have a discussion to hopefully get the listing. That's the intent of creating these. We'll view this PDF. Shrink it down. Let's go down and see how many pages we have here. We have 11 pages. Now, if you look, you have 3 columns. Same as the 2, it just lists 3 columns on each page. Not bad. But we still haven't gotten to the thing I like most about CMA and its most powerful tool, which is compare their subject property to the rest of them. The way we do that, come up here to customize, is we go to the 4-column comparison. This is what I do a majority of my CMAs in, is I use the 4-column comparison, and I will show you 2 things, what it looks like with the 4-column comparison. Publishing the report. This will be much less, fewer pages. View the PDF. So you guys can see it. We'll go down real quickly to the bottom. This is the same 11 pages, but here's the nice thing about it. First off, I didn't load up a photo, so there's no photo here, but it's showing the subject property. The first column on your left will always be the subject property. Remember when I went in and I added that additional information on the first page. Well, that pulls it all in here. The area will be Sterling Heights. I can add that so we can all see Sterling Heights. And it shows you the information. There's 2 more properties over here. Here's my subject property. It compares you back to your subject property. And that to me is why I use the CMA more than anything, because it allows me to see the subject property. So that's why I like this report. On the cover page, the 4-column comparison. On the cover page, though, you have kind of this overhead view with this purple square in the middle. It's always some sort of bluish purple tone. It's very hard to see. So this is the last thing I'm going to show you that I like to change. We're going to go back to customize. We're going to leave it in the 4-column comparison. We're going to make some other changes. But back here under listing, oh, sorry, criteria. Under criteria, I'm going to add a cover photo. To add a cover photo, one that I either took or I pulled off of BS&A and I saved it to my desktop, you select add a cover photo. There you go. And right here is my photo. I already saved it as a JPEG. It'll only pull in JPEGs. I'm going to click update. I'm not going to crop it. I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm just going to select crop. And it's loaded my cover photo. Okay? So you have to hit update listings for it to bring in your cover photo. And to load that cover photo, we go to customize. We should have 4-column layout. Now, here's where I'm going to tell you how I changed my CMA a little bit. I like my cover letter at the bottom. Sorry, not my cover letter. My contact me at the bottom. And sold property analysis. We'll get rid of the cover letter. I like the what is a CMA in there. I also have a couple custom pages. The custom pages that I've added is my CMA criteria explained. I'm going to add that one. And remember when I said I like to include the BS&A report or some other things? Those I already loaded up here under custom pages. To load something under custom pages, to create custom pages for your report, you select your photo. Down here on the far right, it says custom pages. And you have 2 types of custom pages. You have Word pages up here that you can add at any time. Just create a title and add it in. Here's my CMA criteria explained. This is what I include in all my reports. I give a little written bit about, I put their name in and my search criteria, but the more important reason I have this custom page in there is I tell them that this is a CMA. It is not an appraisal. And it's only good based on, kind of right now. Don't call me in 90 days and said, well, you said my home was worth this. It could be worth more or less, depending on how the market changes. But the reason I include this page is because I want to stick in this little kind of disclaimer right there as to what a CMA is. But I tell them the search produced 5 homes, meeting the criteria above. 2 are active, 3 have closed. There were no pendings. We're going to save that. That's a word that you can create. But we can also pull in PDF pages. Now, I'm one of those agents that I look at the Zillow listing for the property before I go on the CMA, because chances are, I don't know what websites they're using, but they're usually gone to one of Realtor, Trulia, Zillow, or some other third-party website and already kind of have an idea of what their home is worth. So I go to Zillow, I pull that up, I save the screenshot. I'm going to pull that into this report because there's a page here that kind of shows what the Zillow pricing can be in the CMA. I'm going to show you that in a second. But I downloaded that page, and as you can see, I already did that this morning. Here it is right here. I added it as a PDF. Here's the BS&A as the PDF. I'll show. It's really easy to upload something as a PDF. This morning, I also ran the January 23 stats, market stats for Sterling Heights, which shows them what the market is doing. If you're not familiar with how market stats work, that's a great class, but I'm to find out how they all work. So I'm going to show you how I upload a PDF. In this case, it'll be the market stats that I pulled up. You go to upload. Here's the PDF file right here. It's market stats for Sterling Heights of January 23. You select it, select upload, and just like that, it's loaded as your custom pages. So you have PDFs you can bring in or custom pages, Word type that you create yourself. Once they are in the custom pages, they're available at all the time until you delete them. So we're going to go back to this report here we've been working on. We're editing it. We're going to come all the way here to custom, customize. You don't have to go through listing and all that. Now I want to add in under my custom pages. I told you I wanted to add in the January market stats. I'm not going to add the BS&A information, but I'm going to add the Zillow information. The reason I'm adding the Zillow is because there is under analysis, there's a page called Online Value Analysis, which I always add into my reports. Online Value Analysis is just that. The nice thing I like adding about it is, what? It didn't load anything. Oh no. Okay, for some reason it's not loading up, must not have anything. If it has it, it usually pulls up information and it says this page powered by Zillow. I don't have, I'm not going to try to figure out why it's not pulling the information. I'll show you in another report. And then I arrange my properties how I want. I have the contact me as my last one. I added in here under my custom pages, your CMA criteria explained. I like to put that page up here right behind what is a CMA. I have my maps of my listings, comparative property statistics, online value analysis, which isn't loading right now, so that I always put my Zillow page right behind that. You can leave out average price or whatever. Sold property analysis we'll leave in there. I'll move this up here. And market stats, then finally contact me. This is how I want the report to look. So I'm going to save this as my template. 33696 Ashton. And I'm going to save this and I'm going to publish this report. And this is going to be in the format that I want. We're going to publish this right now. So we have the view of the PDF. This would be similar to a report I would send over to a client or take with me. Here's my what is the CMA page, my CMA criteria explained, the map of comparable listings. Here are my comparable property back to my subject property. That's why I like the 4-column comparison. Here's what their comparable property statistic. It's a nice visual to talk to. Here's a sold property analysis. Homes are selling for an average of 88.5% of their list price, which is a good talking point. Here's what Zillow's saying their home is worth. So I've already done my due diligence and I know if this is a good range to be talking to them about. And the online value analysis page, because there's no information, didn't print. Here's a local market update page that I pulled in. Of course, my last page is my contact me page. So at this point, there are several things you can do. We viewed the PDF. You can view it live. Viewing it live kind of came about when we were not allowed to meet face-to-face and we had to send stuff to our clients. It's a great tool to know how to use, where you can send it to them and they can view it live. It's kind of an interactive way to do CMAs. I don't use it a whole lot, but I've taken my time to go through each one of these tabs. I've sent it to my wife, and I kind of sat in the basement. She was upstairs, and we walked through it all and how it all worked. It's a good way to get a CMA to somebody that maybe doesn't want to meet or you can't meet for whatever reason, it's one option to go through there. I would suggest practicing with how to use the live tool before you just go and send it to somebody and fumble your way through it. That's the live version. The other way, other options that we have, you can email them the report, copy it as a PDF link or copy it as a live link. And if you copy it as a live link and mail it to them, that's where they're going to email it to them. That's where they're going to be able to open it. You can work it interactively like that. There's a couple other ways we can do it. We're going to go back to CMAs because you have to be in the main reports here. So here on the far right of each one of these tabs, we have these 3 dots here. If you select the dots, again, here the copy PDF links, copy live links, but we also have, you can view it as a slideshow. Viewing it as a slideshow is similar to live, but it's if you're going to do a slideshow in front of somebody, if you want to bring them into your conference room and you have a big screen TV that your computer can connect to, you can bring them in and kind of have your presentation in your, in your office. Basically your remote is down here in the bottom right. The home is the home button, and it just, the little darkened arrow, not the gray, the lighter gray, the darker ones take you to the next page. It just kind of goes through it. It's a nice presentation. This one, you have a darkened arrow that came down too. So now you can start seeing the sold homes, and it's hard to see right here, but if you go down here, it'll take you to all the photos that are available here, all right, for that property. The right arrow takes you to the next property, and so on and so forth. The home brings you home. So that is a great tool that's called the slideshow to use if you want to use it in your conference room or some other place like that. And then again, I already covered the view the PDF link. That's how you can send it out to your clients. Real quick, I'd like to show you, if I can view this one. This is a report I did a couple days ago. I just want to show you that online value analysis page, even though it's a different report. Should be in here towards the bottom. Online value analysis, and this is why I include this page. It comes pre-formatted from you from CloudCMA. It starts out how accurate are the estimates, and right now what it's showing, the Z estimate on the, for the active, and sometimes it doesn't fill in the Z estimate when they sold, but right now you can see that the Z estimate is 457 and it's being listed at 475. When the solds are filled in, for some reason these properties, the sold didn't fill in, but you can really see, and when the sold is filled in, it's nice because you're seeing what they were listed for and what they're actually sold for, which helps you make your conversation a little easier with that potential client when their pie in the sky is really high because they looked at a Zillow estimate. And the nice thing is the source is Zillow, and this is all on the report right here, so that you can see it. And then after that, here was the Zillow page of the range. That's what it should look like, and that's why I include the online value analysis in my reports. So that kind of sums up how to do a CMA. We have, I'm going to about wrap it up real quickly here. It starts with the first thing you do when you get that call from the potential client is you look it up, go to BS&A and look it up. You can see if there was a previous listing. I just go right to BS&A, get all the information from BS&A on the tax, because that's going to show me who the property owners are, who the decision makers are, and who I need to be sitting down with when I give my CMA presentation. It also gives me the data points for which me to create my search, my residential property search, so it can find similar properties in order to have the information for my CMA. I like to include active, pendings, and closed. Active and pendings are their competition. Closed is showing an indication of what the market is doing. There are 2 ways once you have the property selected to generate a CMA. The first way is you come over here to the Reports tab, go all the way down to it'll be under CMA, and then CMA Summary, and it'll generate this quick report. It does not give you a comparison back to your subject property. However, it gives you information needed that you can come up with a reasonable range of where the house should be at. And these fields up here are all customizable the headings up here by going through your Customize field tab and changing those. That's one way to do a report. The other way is once your properties are selected, you come up to the blue bar here and select Actions. It looks like a plug. And select CloudCMA. And it'll take you directly to CloudCMA and start generating the report for you, fill in the client's name, all that information. And once you get to that point, you can open up your CMAs and go from there. If you want to come back and visit a CMA, you can come up to this tab that says CMA, hit CloudCMA, and it'll bring you all to the CMAs that you've been working on. You can edit them or send them out or do whatever you would like from there. That's kind of the CMA class. There is one other thing I'll show you kind of quickly here, and that's it. CMA does have a feature for lead generation. If you select where your photo is in the upper right corner, come down here to lead gen. It'll generate what we call what your home is worth. Here's a landing page. You can copy the link. You can embed this portion in your website if you have a website, or if you do a blog or anything else like that. If you want to put it out there on Facebook, you can take this landing page. It'll say, what's my home is worth. You just copy the link, view the landing page. So what'll happen is they enter their property address, and when they enter their property address, they have to put in an email, and then you will get a notification as an agent that somebody at this address was asking about this property. You get their email address. You can email them to follow up. It is a good tool. It does work. We've had classes. We've done classes where we've showed this, and some agents have gone out and put it in a Facebook posting or some other form of social media, and they've got a pretty good response, and they were able to follow up with some people about it. I caution you, because the property value that they assign to the home, it's done through AI, and it doesn't weed out some stuff. So near my house in particular, where I live, across the street, we have some massive homes being built that have recently been sold. My home is more like 15 to 20 years old. It's not at the same price point as those, but it pulled those in, and it's super elevated my home price. I know my home price isn't what it said it was. However, it's a starting point, and it's good because it gives you, the agent, the email of the people when they fill out the information. So at least it gives you a starting point to somebody to reach out to. It doesn't cost you anything because you're a member of My Real Source to have this available to you, so you can post it on Facebook or any other form of social media, your website, your blogs, and when people select it, you will capture their information. I'll show you again where to find that. It's when you go to CloudCMA, it's under your icon up here in the right in lead generation. It gives you the link to put into a Facebook page or anywhere else, that when somebody enters their information here, it walks them through a couple of quick steps, and then they have to provide an email, and then that will give you a notification that somebody filled it out. That's how you do lead gen kind of quickly from there. That summarizes the two ways to do CMA. The only thing I'm going to do right now with the last remaining minute or so that I have, I'm just going to cover some stuff right here quickly on our My Real Source homepage. First, I want to show you right here where our YouTube channel is. It's up here in this kind of middle part, this blue bar right here. If you open that up, Debbie does an excellent job of editing all these classes that are online and the ones we do hybrid. And then she posts them down here to our YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. But any of these things that come up, any of these classes that come up, you can always come back here and go through the edited version to find out how to do something. Or if there's a class, something else you want to find out about, you can just come up here to our search bar, not the search bar up here, our search bar for My Real Source. Let's say you want to get tax info and hit search. It'll bring up all the information on taxes. Here are some really good things on how to use BS&A and just some of the other tax stuff that's on there. These are all YouTube videos you can go through and look at. Come back to home. It's also sorted over here by, we have the different shorts, we have the playlist. It's just a really, really powerful site. Here they are kind of broken up into different, these are all the videos that are in here. Here's one for Transaction Desk and Athenasign. There are 35 videos in this library. You can go through and find out stuff. You know, even as an instructor, a person who's, you know, kind of up on a lot of this stuff, the pages are changing so often. They add a tab, they add something in there. Different instructors teach it differently and have a different point of view on how to use things or different shortcuts. I go through and I look at these videos from time to time on my own, just to become more proficient and keep my tools sharp in my Realtor toolbox. So that's all off of our YouTube page by going right here. The other thing I want to show you is up here in the kind of in this darker blue way up at the top, it says MLS Documents. If you select that and then come down here to see where it says MIRS Education, open up that, you will see all the PDFs and handouts that Debbie gives. They're all in here. You can type in the search bar CMA, and it should bring you up the ones that are how to do CloudCMA and everything else. So that's another really good tool that you can use up here under MLS Documents. That's my time for today. I really appreciate everyone who logged in. If I didn't see any questions there, I hope I didn't miss any. Debbie, real quickly, is there anything you want to add before we sign off? Again, thank you. And, you know, don't underestimate the power of a CMA when you go to meet that potential client. And Debbie, anything?
No, we are all good. There were no questions today, so that's pretty easy.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for being in here. If you have any questions, reach out to Debbie, and we'll get you answered. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody.